Welcome to Parables from Paradise. My name is Lisa Munoz, and we're live today from Guanacaste, Costa Rica. And today I'm joined by Asher Pailet. And Asher, I'm really excited to have you here today. I've already spoken with your mom, and I'm just really excited to hear a little bit more about your journey as you've described from darkness to light. But I'd like to just start off by asking you a little about your name, Asher. What does that mean?
Asher actually is Hebrew, and it means happiness.
So recently you came to Costa Rica with your parents, and you told me that this time here has been a transition from darkness to light. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Absolutely. So since coming to Costa Rica, I've done so much healing. Right before coming here, I was just actually released from prison on a 2-year sentence. And 3 weeks after coming out, sleeping on my parents' couch, I was basically dragged here and not knowing what to expect. But definitely open to something different.
So talk to us just a little bit about, you just said you were in prison. What led you to that point?
Years of addiction, starting when I was 18 years old with Xanax, in and out of rehabs for years. And then ultimately being addicted to fentanyl for 4 years, in and out of jail, rehabs, sober livings, kicked out of the house, living on the streets, selling drugs.
Most people would describe that as a pretty dark place. Now you're here in Costa Rica. What is Costa Rica and having this time here done for you?
I just want to say that when I was in jail, I got into prison ministry and started watching a podcast actually called Real Vida TV.
Okay.
And being in the jail system, there's a lot of Bibles and Christianity is big, and being raised Jewish, I've always been open-minded and quickly realized, the stuff that Jesus preached was, it's all different ways to leading to the same thing. And I really just, I would love seeing and being, it's so powerful to be in such a dark place and seeing few people, but seeing the people, it's a big revolution going on actually in the jail systems.
Really?
With the God. And it's amazing to see these older ex-gang members that have gone through so much darkness and realizing that that's not the way, or realizing that the darkness actually brings you to the light. And so in there, I got real into God and would do a lot of praying and worshiping. What's that called? The music.
Like praise and worship music?
Praise and worship music, and Christian rap, actually. They have tablets in there. Okay. And I got into, a little bit of Christian rap, and just
so starting to put good things into your ear.
And planting the seed.
Yes.
And at one point in there, I came to God and I said, please, I need help, and I want something different. And I really think that that's when the universe in my life really started to change. And it's not like everything shifted right then and there, but that's when I got in the car and it took off. And I've just been on this journey since.
So you've been here in Costa Rica. What's helped you heal and grow since you've been here? I mean, obviously we're in this beautiful location. You're surrounded by the natural world. Your mom talked a little bit about, we're right here by the water. We're able to be grounded to the earth here. Life is just a little bit slower. How has that helped you in your growth and your healing?
Well, ultimately, I think that growing up in the city and having all the things are just distractions. And coming to a place that removes the veil and there's no distractions, really being able to focus on yourself, see things and see how you think, and being able to be present and to ground and really just see life for what it is and how it should be. I really believe that the city and all the craziness is a big problem, and why the world is in so much craziness. And chaos.
What experiences have you talked about? You have been able to work a little bit now. Talk a little bit about how that's helped.
So when I first came here, the first month was jam-packed with so much. I can't even begin to name the list.
They wanted to help you.
Yeah, amazing people were planted in my life. And a job opportunity came up where, our friends at yoga happened to need somebody and said, hey, come work at our coffee shop. And here I am 3 months later, and it's just the people here as well have just been so inspiring. Everybody I work with is my best friend. And the people seeing them with nothing and how happy they are is the biggest thing, because I've grown up around people with everything and they're miserable. And less is more. Yeah, I've realized.
I would agree with that too, definitely.
And so the job opportunity has really allowed me to grow and just be an amazing, what is the word I'm looking for? Reintegration into society and to dealing with people and normal people again. Because I remember being around so much negative people. I remember being in jail and walking around because we would go to store in the mornings, and I would go to store and I would walk around and I would hand out ramen noodles to people because, I just love to give. I've always been like that. And I've known, the more you give, the more you get. And it's not but it's the feeling you get, And people would always say, why are you doing that? Stop doing that. They're not going to give it to you when you don't have anything. But I would just laugh because deep down I knew that God put me in a position so I can do this for people, to be a light to people. And I don't have the most, and I obviously didn't always have the most, but to have enough to be able to give, that's all that I want. That's all that I've ever wanted. And
I love that. Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah. Even Christians struggle with all walks of life. We have struggles, addiction. It could be, whether it's addicted to money or fame or food or drugs and alcohol. What piece of advice would you give people who are struggling and how your faith and finding hope has helped you get through some of the darkest points in your life?
Well, I just want to say to anybody that's struggling with any type of addiction or depression, I would encourage you to look inside and to really, look past all the distractions. That's where all the work begins. Because for so long, being an addict, not just to drugs, but to money, materialistic things and relationships and just anything that would make me feel better, and
filling that hole.
And I'd say this to people all the time. I remember I would go to Neiman Marcus and I would say, okay, I need these pair of shoes. I would buy the pair of shoes, and right after I'd buy the shoes, my mind would already be on the next thing that I needed because it would never be enough. It's this endless hole, whether it's trying to fill it with drugs, relationship, or money. It's never enough. And the only thing that's really filled that is self-love and God. And I can honestly say that it's the most, just fulfilling thing. And I've been searching my whole life for this. And to be here right now is just the most incredible feeling. And I'm just so grateful to be here.
Well, that's a beautiful way to end this segment. And I'm just so thankful that you were willing to come and share a little bit about your story and, your journey from darkness to light. I truly believe that God wants all of us to be happy. He's got a purpose for all of us. And I'm so glad to see that you're starting to see that for yourself. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for you. You're still such a young man. So very exciting.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And we'll see you next time.